Hello, English 101 students. This is our screencast for Minor Essay 2. This is a definition essay. In this case, it is just 45 writing process points. That will be due on Saturday, October 7th. There is no final draft required, so do your best. We will only be doing one draft of this essay. Remember, a cover page and paragraph must come in with the essay. The assignment in this case is only 3 paragraphs. You will need a funnel introduction, a body paragraph with your topic sentence, examples, analysis, and a conclusion, and of course a conclusion for the essay. So the purpose behind definition writing is to explain an abstract concept using specific examples and analysis. In this case, we're working with a vague concept or a category to provide examples and analysis that give us a clear, concise, complete picture of the concept or category to our readers. We need to do this because as writers, we need to move past meaningless labels and glittering generalities into a direct form of writing focused on details supported by analysis. So the emphasis here is going from the vague to the concrete. You can choose your own topics. Sample topics include things like perseverance, passion, values, respect, responsibility, peace, mercy, courage, beauty, equality, elegance, dignity, grace, or you might think of it in terms of the ideal student, the ideal boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife in that case too. Superhero genre movie, need to specify one. Genre song, specify one. So for example, what makes the ideal pop song? A mother, a father, an athlete, specify a sport, because the ideal football player is not necessarily going to be the ideal volleyball player or baseball player. The ideal step-parent, teacher, sibling, American presidential candidate, person of faith, and so on. As long as it's an abstract topic, you can pretty much choose your own, but check with me before you proceed if you're choosing something that's not on the list. Each topic is far too broad for a short assignment, so start by establishing a specific context. Your strategies in this case, you're going to create a definition using criteria in the introduction. Work with a single example that models the criteria that you establish in the introduction. Stick with those criteria and stick with one specific example. Do not start by looking up the word online or in a book. That will give you somebody else's definition. To achieve presence in writing, you need to isolate yourself away from all reference materials. While you should avoid reference sources, it is fine to use quotes from your selected example, for example from a song, a show, a movie, and so on. All quotes must be in MLA format, cited within the essay, and on a separate works cited page. Avoid phrases like they say and some say. They are not valid examples. And by themselves, these words are meaningless. Your task is to give them meaning through your examples and your analysis, so therefore each example should be as specific and focused as possible. To be specific, avoid plurals. Plurals tend to be vague. We want to specify and to analyze. This is an extremely short essay. Work with no more than one single, well-developed example. Also keep in mind that an essay is a contract between the writer and the reader. So it's the writer's way of saying, hey, this is something that's worth your time. If you say anything along the lines of, everyone has his or her own definition of blank, that will earn a 0 for breaking the contract with the reader. If everyone has his or her own definition for blank, then what's the reader's point in reading the essay? That's a violation of that contract. So avoid the mistakes of past essays. Think about evaluating and reevaluating the thesis. It should be as specific to your experience as possible. If it's a cliche or if it's something that somebody else could do from general experience, it's not a good thesis. Same thing with your examples. If it's a cliche or something that anyone else could state from their general experience, it's not a good example to use in the essay. All supporting evidence should be tied back to the topic sentence in the body paragraph. So commentary that is not specific, tied back, is likely wandering, is either unnecessary, or maybe it's an indication that it's time to start a new paragraph. Make sure to take all forms of you, meaning the word you, your, and then the contraction your for you are. Forms of you do not belong in academic writing. Use first or third person instead. We have passive verbs, which we need to minimize. It's not saying that you can't write an essay using the word is. I realize that would be impossible, but we should minimize these as much as possible. One of the reasons why we say do not use your in the essay is because it's an aggressive pronoun. It talks at the reader rather than speaking with the reader. Nondescriptive, passive-aggressive words and phrases, things like I think, I feel, I believe, in my opinion, to me. Your name is on the essay, so this is already implied. It's unnecessary filler words. Things like feels like, looks like, seems like, maybe, might be. Those imply doubt on the part of the writer's voice. We do not want doubt in our voice. Kind of, same way, implies doubt. Some people, some say, those are just filler words. It sounds like we have evidence, but we don't. And then words like a lot and stuff are non-descriptive. We've talked about the funnel introduction before. Make sure you're using the funnel introduction in your essay. One way of starting with this, and you do not have to do this, but you could go ahead and download this, print it off, and as a way of starting the writing process. We call this a definition concept map. So you can use this graphic organizer to help put together your thoughts on your topic. Connotations, create your own definition, use it in a few sentences to demonstrate its meanings. By the way, you don't have to start just right here. You can start anywhere on this and work up or down to help you fill it out. So what are the things that make your topic unique? How are we going to recognize it if and when we see it? You might think of examples or non-examples. You might also think, is this a positive thing? Is it a negative thing when we use this word? Are we speaking positively or negatively? Grading for this is based on 45 minor assessment points. We'll go through the criteria here very quickly. Please make sure you are submitting a best attempt at completing your draft. This is also what we'll use for the rough draft of your major essay. So the descriptors define the criteria alongside. I'll leave you to read those on your own. A funnel introduction will set the context for the discussion. Should be a funnel introduction, and we should have a clear main idea, purpose, or thesis. Paragraphs. In this case, only one body paragraph is necessary, but your essay can be longer if you want it to be. Should contain a topic sentence. The topic sentence should tie back to the thesis. We need specific and descriptive, well, in this case, just one example, but for your later essay, you might have several examples to support that topic sentence. Notice in this case, it's either yes or no. The essay should be expository. It does not aim to tell a story. It does not build an argument. The writer should analyze each example before moving on. Your voice should dominate the main points and analysis of the essay. The paragraphs should be built with some sort of sense of organization and purpose behind them. Paragraphs, in this case, you only have one body paragraph again, but for your later essay, make sure to contain transitions between one another. Use an assertive voice. So that's where we talked about those passive phrases or passive-aggressive phrases. If you use forms of you in the essay, you're going to lose significant points here. Then make sure it meets the length requirements, uses a legible 12-point font, and has 1-inch margins. I put together a sample writing process for you, and this is what mine looked like. I worked with the topic of the ideal summer movie. So connotations, well, blockbusters, summer movies, typically runs early May to early August. Both positive and negative. They are movies, but not films necessarily. But on the other hand, we like them because they're fun. Characteristics, yeah, definitely fun. Light, not too serious, easy to follow. Great to watch with friends. It's a bit of a thrill ride. Should be clever if we want to love it beyond just summer. So action-packed, family-friendly, fun characters. Examples, I always think of Pixar movies. Jurassic World, not my favorite movie, but I can't deny it's a summer movie. I eventually settled on the example of Guardians of the Galaxy for my essay. Non-examples. I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but I hate the Transformers movies. I find them dull, just random explosions, no character development. Likewise, something like the Revenant would be too serious. So then I started developing my criteria, and eventually I got it narrowed down to 3 specific criteria: a likable ensemble cast, good writing, and a bit of a thrill ride. For my discovery draft, I just led with the criteria, and then I just started writing the body of the essay using that criteria. So in this case, I developed a 5-paragraph essay. This was one paragraph, second criteria was another paragraph, third criteria was another paragraph. Yours does not have to be this long. So I wrote it out. Notice there's multiple crossouts. Your writing process should be messy like this. And then I left room to develop a little bit more, and here's my conclusion. My discovery draft or my next attempt at a rough draft contains that cover page, my goal for the essay, strongest parts, weakest parts. I noticed I didn't fill this out because I didn't know just yet. So I just went to type. I don't have an introduction yet because this is still a discovery draft. Then I edited that. Then finally I went through and said, okay, here's my introduction, first body paragraph, second body paragraph, third body paragraph, and my conclusion. And then because I used an outside source, I had to cite it. So that would be one sample writing process for this essay. Again, it doesn't have to be this long, but it's a process that you can use. As always, let me know if you have any questions.